got us some garlic powder, onion powder, salt, ground black pepper, Italian seasoning, and some tomato paste. Also, we have us some minced garlic, Prego tomato, onion, and garlic getty sauce, then getty, yellow mustard, some sugar. We got us a pound and a half of 80/20 ground beef, chopped up bell peppers, and in our container, chopped up onions. And that's all we gonna need today, in addition to a little bit of butter. Run your dishwater like we always say. Get that nasty out of there so you don't have roaches in your kitchen falling down in your pots. Now here we are with our little Dutch oven. We gonna go to adding our meat, and we gonna break it up as we add it in there because we want it to bust down easy. We don't like to struggle here, but this is Chef Fo Getty recipe. Old school Getty with meat sauce. Anybody can do it. Anybody can make it. You ought to know how to make this, but if you don't, just watch Chef Fo. So we got that all broke down and busted up. And we gonna time to hit it with our seasonings here. We got us a little garlic powder. We gonna put 2 tablespoons of that in there. And then we gonna follow that right up with a little bit of our Padilla onion powder. We're gonna put us another 1.5 tablespoons and 2 tablespoons of onion powder. Next up is our salt. We're gonna put us about 1.5 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons of that. Yes. There go our ground black pepper here. Added about 2 tablespoons of that too. Now what we gonna do here is we season in rounds like we always do. So we just getting a little flavoring on our meat, and we gonna come back behind that and season up our ragu. So here I am with my wooden spatula. Use whatever utensil you like, but I'd recommend this. Bust down your meat, break it up, and start browning it. Once you start to browning it and you render a little oil, you want to drop your diced vegetables in there. Like we do here, we got our onion there in the pot. You can see that oil down at the bottom. And we add our diced green peppers that we pre-prepared yesterday. Man. Chef Fo, homemade, old school style Getty. Now we got a lot of tips and pointers to give you here. You know, some people make Getty and it's sitting in the pool. We don't like no pool. We like our ragu or our sauce thick and sticking to our noodles, our thin Getty noodles, our pasta. So we're browning that up, and as you can see, we're done with it. And we're gonna get ready to drain this and put it back in the stove to put some butter in there. And we're cutting up the butter. And what we want to do is melt the butter down into the meat. And then we're going to add our tomato paste. This is a recipe from my sister. This is how my sister used to make old school Getty. And she taught old Chef Fo how to do it too. May she rest in peace. So here we are. The butter's all melted now. And we want to add a can of tomato paste to the mix. And we want to do is get this all incorporated and mixed in. Get it all throughout the meat, and we want to form a big puck or a mountain in the middle of the pot. And you want to rotate the pot as you're doing it. As you can see early on in the process here, distributing that tomato paste throughout the 80/20 ground beef, all seasoned, cooked, and drained. Now we're nearing the end of that process here, and as you can see, a puck has formed in the middle. Mashing down on that, getting that all incorporated and mixed in. And we got us here a puck. And we open up our Getty sauce and we're putting it around on the sides of that there. And we're gonna let this simmer. But you know we from the ghetto and we don't let nothing go to waste. So Chef Fo filling that jar of Getty sauce up with some water out the faucet, and we gonna dump that off in there. Just make sure our pot is evenly over the fire, and we're gonna add that in there. Secret weapon here sis used to use was the yellow mustard. Give it a nice little tang. Mustard also cuts gas. another tablespoon or so of garlic powder, followed by another tablespoon or so of onion powder. Here we go again with our salt, probably about a half a tablespoon of that. Also, going into our mixing here is gonna be our Italian seasoning, and we put about teaspoon of that into the mix. What we got here next is we got a little bit of black pepper, another teaspoon of that in there. Now, what we're gonna do now is what many of you do, like sweet get-it, but I don't like sweet get-it, but I do put a little bit of sugar in it because the sugar cuts the acidity of the tomatoes. So we got a little bit of sugar in there. We got about a tablespoon or 3/4 of a tablespoon of white sugar in the mix. Some people even use brown sugar. And here we are with a tablespoon of our minced garlic. So what we want to do is we want to let this simmer until that puck go to collapsing inside that meat sauce. Put us a pot of water on the stove. I added a little bit of salt in there, and I found some Texas toast in the freezer. So I sprayed a little bit of cooking spray in the bottom of an aluminum pan, even though I probably didn't need that, but you know, better to be safe than sorry. And I added 4 slices of that Texas toast garlic bread into that aluminum pot there. Put the oven on 425, and we're gonna let that rock and roll for about 15 minutes. And as you can see, our meat puck has begun to collapse into the sauce. So I go ahead and stir that the rest of that way in. And as you can see, it had already begun to thicken. Nice and thick. There won't be no pool on the bottom of this plate here. And this sauce gonna stick to that pasta. It's gonna stick to them noodles. Getting that all stirred up and mixed in and incorporated. And here we are. I did add a little bit more water to it, as you're finna see right now. And I hit it with a little bit of that Italian seasoning, a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper, and a little more of that mustard. Seasoning rounds. Like I said, I put a little bit of water in there too, because we're gonna allow it to simmer for a few more minutes. And this was the end result. Look all smooth and creamy and luxurious. Now that's how you make a good get-it sauce. I don't care what nobody tell you. They ain't told you like Chef Fo told you. They ain't told you at all. That's how you want it. Took off the fire. Here we are with our thin get-it noodles boiling inside our water. They're about halfway there. You might want to boil them anywhere from 7 to 12 minutes, depending on how you like your pasta. But I like mine done, baby. Now here we go. We're going to take that off the fire there and pour it in our draining bowl. That's in the garbage disposal side of the sink, a little cold water. Another tip, just spray it down with a little cold water. You want to shock your pasta and stop it from cooking. That way each noodle can be individually on its own. And tomorrow when you go to get them leftovers, it ain't a big clunk of noodles that you got to break apart with your hand. It'll already be separated and ready for you and neat and pretty. Look at that there. Look at that there. Sprinkle a little Parmesan over the top of that there. Over the top of that meat sauce. And I'll get it. Do you see any juice on the bottom? Do you see any water on the bottom of that get it? No, sir, you don't. Chef Fo, old school homemade get it recipe. Over the top with a little bit of green parsley. And here we go. Our Texas toast was done. We're gonna add that over the top over there. Chef Fo style. Look at this here. Look at this here. Look at that there. Man, what is this here? That look like some get it to me, man. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how you like the recipe. Thank you for your support. A lot of love, y'all. I'll see you later.